All right, guys, my very first emergency video. I promise I'm not gonna make an O face uh, thumbnail, put it on YouTube, but this is very important. If I'm right, could make a lot of you a lot of money. So, if you were in the stream yesterday, left you with some support and resistance lines, and basically that we're gonna range in this box, possibly ride on support and resistance lines. But one thing that was really puzzling me, and I just reset the chart, but I mean, we were up to like 18,000 on the CVD, the cumulative volume delta on the GDEX. GDEX is basically Coinbase Pro. I just never saw it that high. I just never saw all this green, all this Hulk smash green. Um, I've never experienced this before. So, and I actually asked a question on a couple Discord pages, but I never really got a great answer. But uh, George over at Cryptos Are Us tuned me into tax loss harvesting, and I made a recommendation, and I'll make it again. They should tune over. Everybody's George. Um, Tune over to Cryptos Are Us. Give him a follow. But I was looking more into this tax loss harvesting. It's a billionaire's tools to escape taxes. Basically, this year has been great for stocks. And now that we're coming down to the end of the year, big money is taking advantage of a loophole where you could go ahead and if you're holding Bitcoin at 50,000 and you sell it now at 46,000, you could take that loss against the gains that you made for the year, avoid a lot of taxes, but you sell at 46, then you immediately come around and and buy it again at 46, or buy a similar asset like Ethereum or something like that. Here on Forbes talks about it, CNBC, Bloomberg. I don't know how long, I don't know how many years this loophole has been in effect, but it's for realsies. And again, if you're a billionaire and you own politicians, you could get yourself a loophole like this. What a horrible, horrible loophole this is. Have a stock, you're going to immediately, you're going to sell it today, and then you're going to immediately buy it again, and then you get to write off those losses. Geez, how can I get in on that? The amounts I make, doesn't even compare to, doesn't compare to, what these big whales and big money, the billions that they're throwing around. And I think that's what explains this. And again, this was I reset it literally like a half hour ago, and we're already up to 500 here on the CVD, and we were up to just from the session, which started at basically 21 hours ago. In the 21 hours, it got up to, what the heck did it get us? 17, almost 17,000 Bitcoin. I mean, that's a lot of dough. Um, Never seen it that high before. Without without it making some kind of crazy dump move like that. Um, within the last 21 hours, and we're just really moving sideways here. These two candles here, we're basically moving sideways. Uh, so what's going on? Yeah, so there's a new animal in the herd. The price of Bitcoin is a big living beast. It's a giant herd moving across the savannah, um, comprised of many different types of animals. And then there's poachers and whales and unicorns, and then there's giant Whaleosaurus rexes in there that could just like really wreck the direction of which way the overall herd is moving. Um, but there's a new animal in there. The last few days, this introduction to this invasive species here at the end. really making it difficult to know which way, the corn's going to pop here. I really don't know which direction Bitcoin's going to go. I have an idea, and I'm going to tell you about it here in a minute. This picture perfect accumulation range right here, this picture perfect accumulation range, the classic follow the indicators and conventional wisdom. And when you start thinking like the herd is when you usually get wrecked. At this point right here and along this ride down, $500 million worth of liquidations happened. $500 million worth of liquidations in the span of less than a day. And this day is December 27th. This is the last week. They have all the big money. They have until the end of the day tomorrow. The New York Stock Exchange is open tomorrow, but most Bitcoin is not traded. That's when the big money is awake, when London opens and the New York Stock Exchange opens. So we got one more day of this. They're doing it smartly. They're with this much of a sell-off, and they're not crashing the market in a just wicked way like this. I mean, they're doing it smartly. They're iceberging it in, and they're not crashing the market. But if you just sold collectively 14 on Coinbase Pro, if you sold 14,000, is that what it got up to? But yeah, about 14,000 Bitcoins. Granted, a lot of that probably just bought right back in, but I'm thinking a lot of the smart money knows that this is going to take a wicked crash. All these whales that are doing the harvesting, tax harvesting, there's somebody buying it. They're not just selling it back to the exchange. There's somebody buying it, and who's buying it? A lot of retailers, I think. So just like there was $500 million in liquidations here, I am expecting a wicked wick down. There's big money, these whales that are selling off now. Granted, many of them are probably just buying right back in, or at least using a certain amount of what they sold off, a certain amount of dollars to keep the price from crashing. With this amount of selling, I really would expect a huge candle or a giant price move like that. As I said, I was in a position. We did a couple scalps. I'm looking at the book map. I'm looking at a few other things because I'm seeing some very strange things in the book map that I've never seen before. What I think is going to happen, we have one more day for this to pan out, but I believe that we are going to have a massive wick down at some point. This type of sell, and again, I just reset this not even an hour ago. It's already up to plus 680. At some point, it's going to run out of buyers, and prices going to have to start coming down, or these whales just continue to sell and immediately buy, sell and immediately buy. But at some point, when they stop immediately buying, this price is going to crash. I mean, that really is my feeling. And so what am I going to do? This is what I'm looking to do. Sometime tomorrow through the day, towards the evening, or perhaps it happens over the weekend. I don't think it waits till Monday. Big money in the whales. They're not. It's not a bunch of guys in a smoke-filled room these days. It's global, and it's not as coordinated as you think. In my opinion, somebody's going to jump the gun and start the race before Monday. And one of these big whale creatures is going to jump the gun. So it may happen anytime within, say, the next between possibly even tonight. If people need to, it could happen tonight. There's 24 hours left, depending on how much tax loss harvesting, certain whales need to do. Perhaps they just get overly aggressive because they're running out of time. Been trying, they've been holding the market pretty steady, but they're on the clock. So not sure. So it may happen. It may happen this evening. May happen tomorrow. May happen after the New Year's. It may wait until Monday. I don't think so. I think we really do range in here, and then at some point we do get a wicked whip down. I really do. I am going to try target buying down here, and I'm going to set some ridiculously low buy orders. Let's try to figure out together with just how low we should make those. I think we wick down. I'm going to try to catch the bottom. Yeah, this is a new phenomenon. I've not experienced a tax law harvest sell off like before. So the big money, I expect them to just buy and sell, buy and sell. I expect them to just buy and here we've already crept up to 760. And what did price do? Price is just not moving, just not moving. And this is gonna be so sick. It's gonna be so sick. A lot of retail is looking at a chart like this. They're like, I got to get in on this. They're just seeing all this green, all this green. They're thinking, we're heading to the heat, and we're just gonna, pump to the moon, once it snaps. I think people are gonna be in for a rude awakening, and just like there was $500 million worth of liquidations on this downslide because of we failed to hit that pump. I think the liquidations here for all the retail longs and even big money longs is going to dwarf that $1 billion worth of liquidations. Where can this wick possibly go down to where the bulls don't wreck the market? Wow, I think it really has to be here. I think it really has to be here. I think it has to be right there. Any lower, and in fact, I don't even think they can get down quite that far, except for possibly a momentary wick, or if you're in some kind of shit exchange that has much liquidity, maybe certain exchanges wick down much farther than. But I'm thinking 42,000, that range right there. I think that is what. I think what that is what we're gonna target for a wick, and the timing of this wick is going to be weird. It could get the timing of the wick is going to be weird, because so far the tax loss harvesting is pretty disciplined, and the market is not moving with giant leaps down. But as we go into the evening and volume generally decreases, it may get away from them. May happen. May happen just at any time. We'll see how disciplined the sell-off can be, where they don't crash the market. At some point, though, one of these whales is going to want to crash it, because if you're selling here for the tax benefit, you're going to rebuy back in immediately, maybe with some of the proceeds, some of the cash, but you're going to want to crash the market and jump in down here. That's what you're going to want to do. Well, fingers crossed, because if it wicks down below 40,700, or 40,000, if it gets down into the 30,000s, then that might just trigger that might just trigger a horrible cascade effect, where everybody jumps out. Everybody that's been long time holders, you know, may start jumping out. Very possible that we can wick down to this level as well, possibly down to 37,000. And catching this wick is going to be hard because it's going to happen fast, and it's going to blow right past even a lot of market orders where they're just not going to fill because the exchanges are going to shit themselves, just like it did here. A lot of exchanges, I think even Coinbase, people weren't able to fill orders during this move here. So I'm going to put a lot of prices in, or a lot of buys in, 12, 20, 30, different buy orders, because if this wicks down too fast, again, some exchanges and even big exchanges, we're having a hard time, handling this wick here. There's just so many orders that come in. There's so many bot orders, just putting in, taking out orders, that it may overwhelm some exchanges. So in the near term, though, I may just continue the scalp a little bit. There's a new animal in the herd, so maybe another reason. A lot of indicators were at cross purposes with each other and on different time frames too. And it could be the introduction of this new animal here at the end of the year, the tax loss harvesting Asaurus, steering the herd in weird directions. I'll go ahead and make this video, this emergency video. Again, no O-face. I may use the word emergency in the title. Here to trade, so I'm maybe do a couple little scalps. I'm gonna put a ton of orders in, bunch of buys down in this range here, and hopefully when we catch the wick, hopefully all fill, and hopefully I guess the bottom just about right. Set yourself some alarms. Keep your eye on the Bitcoin. You don't want to miss this wick. You don't want to miss it. Whales are vicious animals. They got teeth. While they're doing this, why not? Let's go ahead and do a little wickety wick down, and this 500 million. This is going to be $1 billion worth of liquidations at the end of the day, and the whales are gonna laugh, and they're gonna laugh. They got to catch them all. They can't let us have any of it. But we're gonna outsmart them this time and catch that wick. I could be totally wrong. I could be completely wrong. Do your own TA, do your own analysis. I'm just scalping now, and I'm waiting for the wick. And while I'm waiting for the wick, I'm gonna play some poker. I'm gonna jump in all the games. Yeah, and I'm actually here kind of early, so I get to play all the games tonight. So that's the name of the game tonight: waiting for a wick and playing some poker. Maybe a scalp or two. All right, so let me get this up. I'm gonna try to make this one really short, so as a lot of people watch it. Please share it, because I don't want anybody to get wrecked. Even if you don't think it's gonna wick down like that, watch your long positions. If you're in profits, you might want to maybe step out of them a little bit, but definitely make sure you have those stop losses in place. If this wicks down super fast, they might not fill. Sometimes they don't fill. Just ask people that got crushed over here. Ask people who got crushed over here. Okay, so let me get this video together. Start playing some poker, and I'll see you guys on the felt.